بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين الحمد لله. We are still on this idea of how to create a productive ummah at four levels of our existence. That means I have explained to you how we have the four stages of our life in this world, and this is the framework of the model in which we are talking about the 6P, G and L, of have the 6P of purpose and meaning in life, presence in our life and presence of Allah, positive psychology, the third P, the fourth P is physical energy and wellness. We talk about productivity, of how at individual, family and ummatic level we can be a productive ummah in the 21st century, and then we'll talk about personal development in terms of persuasion, intercommunication skills, and then the G is the idea of this life is not just take, but the idea of this life is giving, a life of giving knowledge, giving your wealth, and sacrificing for the good of all of us. And then this giving must be based on love, because Islam is a religion of love, not a religion of oppression, not a religion of revenge. And then we will be total achievers at the individual level, family level, ummatic level, and inshallah in the 21st century we rise up again. So there are some challenges. Definitely when you talk about productivity, I have given you many ideas and many tips. So if we go back to the chart that we have developed, I have explained to you the four stages of productive life planning. And I've explained to you that the first stage of this planning is where we want to groom our children to become the Caliph of Allah, where we bring them to the understanding of the three basic values of becoming a Caliph of Allah: striving to make themselves good, helping others to be good, and making the world good. That means when they say striving themselves to make them good, that means they're striving themselves to make in terms of their adab, in terms of their character, in terms of their knowledge, in terms of their love of learning, in terms of their capacity to give, to achieve, in terms of success planning for their life, and so all these very basic things, but in a very simple, children-like manner, where they can understand and infuse them in the both conscious and subconscious mind at the four levels of their existence, at the spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical self. Then we'll groom them to become wonderful human beings. Then inshallah, these are the people who is going to contribute to the ummah from the age of 13 to 25. All right? So from the age of 13 to 25, this is a very tumultuous period where there is hormonal change and there's a lot of challenges in terms of success and failure in life, success and failure in relationship, success and failure in many things, where you are faced with a lot of the challenges in terms of modern world, in terms of addiction, pornography, waste of time, obscenity, high level of dependency on gadgets and so on. So many things that will take one whole book to explain to this. But this is the most crucial period. And then we go to the third stage of 26 to 55 years, because now I am facing a lot of young people who have no hope. All right? Young Muslims, graduates who are jobless. And I have many of them. And as I go along, I met, for example, we have a Pakistani brother who is a graduate working as a security guard in Malaysia. And what does he say? No use, I get my degree. I come to Malaysia, I got no job in Pakistan. And what do you think of Pakistan? He says, I don't think so. Pakistan can ever rise for the next 100 years. I have no hope. So you can see that there is a very great sense of hopelessness among this group, and there's a lot of them. Whether you ask, I've met brothers from Egypt having the same situation, having master's degree, roaming around the world trying to get a job, because there's no job in Egypt for graduates. And this is happening in many Muslim countries, also in the Western countries. But in the Western countries, they have some sort of social system where they have dole and they have things like that where they can help them up. So what I'm trying to say is that how are we going to sustain at this level? Because these are the most productive years of your life. From 26 to 55, you are supposed to build your career, your business, your family, and so on. So how are you going to build a family, for example, at 26 when you have no job? How are you going to express your sexual needs, for example, very frankly, without being able to bring a family, without being able to feed them? And this is the critical period throughout this time in many, many Muslim countries. So how are we to sustain hope? Because this is a very big challenge at the individual level, those who are at stage 3. And I've explained to you this journey of life. All right, how individuals are journeying their life. All right. So if we take this another scenario of these young people, all right, they are in a situation where they have a degree. That means they can start here. It's already positive. They already has gone through their education system and so on. But at this point, they become jobless. At 26, they become jobless. And then they become anxious, depressed, and then they go down, and they may be involved in illegal activities, drug addiction, hedonistic lifestyle, whatever it is. And they want to rise. They know. They want to go up. But there is no way. There seems to have no way. So it is important for us to open an avenue for these millions and millions and millions of young, potentially educated Muslimin and Muslimat, whom, if we groom them well, can contribute to the development of the Ummah in the 21st century. If we take the whole aggregate of those who are uneducated and so on, so we have about 700 million of them. So how are we going to sustain hope for them? And this is where, for Muslims, if once you lose hope, you have no trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why in my communication with them is always have trust in Allah, the wisdom of Allah. Yes, you got to go through the trial and tribulation of this life, but try to find some ways and means. In fact, maybe if you have to migrate, you have to go, for example, like our brother from Pakistan who came to Malaysia and become a security guard. I say, yes, take that job, because it's a job. You can at least sustain your mother and father back in Pakistan, and then you try to save some money, take some courses in Malaysia, all right? But plan ahead of a successful life in Pakistan or in other part of the world. But you must have education. So how are you going to become that if you don't have a positive mindset? You must be persistent, because you are already succeeding. All right, now you have gone down and you have got a job. So there is one way up already, one ladder up towards the route of success. So at that level, you must have trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I cannot repeat more than that. I mean, I have gone through life in that kind of situation where I am desperate, despondent, feeling like giving up, seeing no hope in the future. I have gone through that, and I can relate to our younger brothers and sisters who have gone through that. I have gone through life where I've met that kind of situation where I have no hope. I lost my job, I lost so many things that I do not know what to do. But if you have trust in Allah and the wisdom in which He has planned your life for, what is that for? You know that you are His servant, His Caliph of Allah, and He will sustain you. It is not the job that will sustain you. If you think that if I have no job, I cannot sustain myself, then you are disregarding the fact that it is not your job that save you. It is not your career that save you. It is not the qualification that save you. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that will save you. So you must be the most confident human being, because in our relationship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you must feel that, Alhamdulillah, I have Allah to rely on. Okay? So we do our dua, then we do one or two things that we need to do as our positive life planning. That means we ask, what can we do in some small measure, maybe to save some money, do some side business. I have met quite a number of them who are very successful. I have met one Pakistani brother. He did his studies, continuing his studies. He started part-time, and then he got his master's. And while he's doing his master's, what did he do? He bring in leather bags from Pakistan, and then he sell by the highway. He goes to the highway, and now he can own a car. And he can earn much more than a typical Malaysian. Apart from his studies in the university, which he can self-sponsor himself, he just take the bag in the night when there is no people there, but there are travelers traveling over who are tired. They just put his bag, and then he sells, and he can make 3,000-4,000 ringgit a month, which is sufficient for him to live, to send back some money back to Pakistan, and then able to pay, sustain his life here, and able to create a business, which he hoped to make it legal. Now he's just doing dabbling, but he can then apply to register a business and then have a directorship pass, and then he can grow that business and then expand that business in Pakistan or anywhere else in the world. So there are successful models, those who are resourceful, those who are entrepreneurial, those who have this positive mindset. Because remember, the moment you give up, you near kufur. That's why Rasulullah SAW tells us, if you become poor and you give up on Allah, it is nearing kufur. So we do not want to be those who are nearing kufur. Whatever the challenges that Allah has given us, it is what we have to do to face that suffering or that sacrifices that we have to do to rise above our challenge. So this is where I will tell our transforming young generation, those who are in the 26 years old to the 55 years old, your life is not a journey of a straight line. Your life will go through all kind of challenges. Every phase of your life, you will have many, many challenges in terms of maybe your loss of job, maybe in terms of your loss of health, in terms of loss of family members, in terms of divorce, children having accidents, whatever it is all part and parcel of this challenge of living in this dunya. And if we can accept that the fact that living in this dunya, we have many challenges, but each of these challenges, inshallah, we can face. Because why? Because we have Allah with us. For the atheists, they got nobody behind them. If they fail, what is their next action? Their next action is just to commit suicide. There are many, many suicides. That's why in many, even advanced countries like Finland, Sweden, there are many, many people committing suicides. They have everything in the world. I mean, if you are from a third world country, you can't imagine. They have allowance for them to live. They have so many things. But because they just lost something, some small thing, they commit suicide because they have no hope. But for Muslims, always sustain yourself with the hope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Always communicate with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your little dua. Every day, every moment when you are having this depression, just say, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, I beseech for your mercy and compassion. Help me out. Ya Allah, Ya Fattah, Ya Razzaq, the opener of the gate of success and the bestower of abundant rizki. Bless me a halal rizki today so that I can raise against this problem that I have. And you repeat it slowly but surely. You implement your plan, do some small steps. Remember, it is not going to be a simple step. Then you maybe get a job, maybe you can do some business. But remember, always have hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Always rely on Him. Know that He doesn't want you to suffer. Know that He wants you to rise above the challenge that you have be facing now. And strive and strive and strive. Never, never, never give up. Inshallah, if you do that, you'll overcome those challenges. And then when you see the bright daylight of the future, where you see all your successes flowing in, you have sense of tremendous gratitude. Subhanallah, alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim. You see that sense of joy. And Allah wants you to have that joy. The joy of having financial independence, the joy of having wonderful families, the joy of having wonderful children, the joy of giving them a good education, the joy of being able to contribute to this ummah, to develop this ummah, and so many things. These are joys in life. These are happiness. These are success, in which if you strive and work hard, relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will overcome your challenge. So remember, if you are in this category, try to do something positive. Do a life planning. Have your vision and mission. Because if you have no vision in life, you will perish. So it is important that we as Muslims must be the most self-confident people in the world, because Allah is with us. When Allah is with us, all challenges, remember, all challenges can be overcome with His divine grace, mercy and love, inshallah.